Hello everyone, Paul Trani here, and I'm excited to share with you Photoshop Pro skills from iPad to desktop and beyond. These are all your pro tips that are going to just make you more efficient, work non-destructively, and ultimately work faster. And honestly, these are tips that I use every day, so I'm really excited about this. Got a number of topics that I'm going to cover, so just switch over. You can see I'm going to actually start out on my iPad, which is where I kind of start a lot of my work. Then we'll move to the desktop. I'll show you how to set up Photoshop efficiently, how you can master layers, master selections, shapes, and text as much as I can get through. So much to cover. In fact, I'm going to dive in right now by starting out on my lovely iPad right here. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to open up this wildlife image, this fox, and you can see this text right here. And I personally have been really impressed with what you could do with text in Photoshop on the iPad. So right over here, we just have Evanier Roman. It's not that crazy of a font, but notice how I can jump in. Hey, we can make it all caps, right? That's one thing I might want to try. All caps. Let's adjust the leading, right? Actually, not quite the leading. Let's adjust the tracking, because there's only one line. If there was two lines, I could do that. Let's do that. Let's make it smaller like that. If I wanted to make one letter larger or smaller, I could do that per character edits, by the way, as I jump in here. So this L, I can go ahead and shift the baseline if you want to, for instance. You get the idea. So the amount of control I have in here just like gives me everything I need, right? So nice. One thing that's actually kind of missing is, you know, I'm not crazy about the font, right? I picked a really boring font. How do we get more fonts on here to make it cooler? Let me show you right now, because let's jump over to Creative Cloud. This is Creative Cloud, the mobile app, the iPad app. And all you need to do is jump in here, find a font that you like. Oh, this one looks great. Liza Display Pro. Click plus in the upper right. It will sync this font. I don't need to restart Photoshop, the iPad app. I can just jump in there. And as soon as it syncs, it'll come through. I don't... I'll just kind of pick some others in the meantime, but we can see we have lemongrass. We have this look script, which looks really cool. In fact, let's turn off all caps because I might want to, there's Liza Display Pro. There it is in there. Fantastic, right? Isn't that cool? So I could try out a couple things really fast. I like this Scarlet Wood script. Let's just take that down and increase the size. I love the texture in here, so this is what I'm going for wildlife. Make it look a little wild and a little unique. And in fact, let's put it behind that fox's head. So that's my goal. How would we do this? We would make a layer sandwich. So I'd take that fox layer, I would duplicate it. Let's put it on top of the text like so, right? There it is, zoop, see that? Let's cut out that fox now, right? Are we gonna use the lasso tool? No, are you insane? Just do a long press on that. Select subject. That's what we want. Select subject. No hands mode. Do your thing. Thank you very much, Photoshop. We want to make sure we get all those little edges as well. So click more at the bottom and you have refine edge. Clicking refine edge, we're now within that refine edge workspace. Using the refine edge brush, just rolling over the top, I can grab all those little, all that fur underneath the chin, kind of around the eyes and the ears, even kind of like between the legs. My font isn't going to go that low, but I can grab and refine those edges wherever I want in this case, right? Cool. Piece of cake, right? Awesome. Let's output it as a layer mask. Of course, that's what I want to do. Work non-destructively, right? Easier, work easier, more efficiently is the goal. That looks pretty good. And by the way, for this text, text is a layer just like any other. So let's just change the blend mode for fun, do something like that, okay? Now let me show you something that you could do faster on the iPad than you can on your desktop. Because what I want to do is I want to jump in and just I want to duplicate this little butterfly, okay? Right in here. So you have this control point that you could work with, kind of like a shortcut key, right? So I can constrain its movement, maybe 45-degree angles, horizontally, you get it. But check this out. I want to duplicate it and move it, click, and then drag out. That's your duplicate function. Bam, 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 bam. Let's make some butterflies. So many of them, right? There they all are. I've never been able to duplicate and move objects so quickly as I can in Photoshop on the iPad. You can see all my lovely layers over there, right? There they are. In fact, if I expand that out, you can see all those different copies, right? So again, I can continue to work on that. It's a Photoshop Cloud document. I didn't really need, it was being saved in the background this whole time. I don't need to use Dropbox or AirDrop or anything when I move to my desktop. All I need to do is just close that file and then open up good old Photoshop. So here I am in Photoshop. Here's just a file that I'm going to work on in a little bit. Let's go to File, Open, and here it is. Being synced right now. Boom, there it is. The fox with its army of butterflies. Click right there, open that up. We could see what that looks like. We want to go beyond. We want to go beyond Photoshop on the iPad and desktop because in the browser, let's just hit refresh. Assets.adobe.com, Cloud Documents available in here as well. There's my fox. Let's click on it. Oh, there it is. Very cool, right? You can see some info on it. This is where I would share it. So share it with the art director or the client, whoever you want, right? Allow them to comment on it, right? Send them that link. No need to like compress a file and try to send it or send them a Dropbox link that they need, I don't know, need to do something crazy with. They can just jump in. They don't need a Creative Cloud account. And sure enough, they can see the file. They can make a comment. They can say, hey, remove these. Are you crazy? Right? What is these that he's talking about? Well, he could place a pin right down there. Or he could draw that area. But remove these butterflies. Only one blue one. One blue one, please. There we go. That was so polite of them. They hit submit, right? There's the comment. As I roll over it, see how it highlights it? Love it, right? They don't need to pass the file back to me or anything like that. I could just jump into that file, just file open, open up that file. And here's some shortcuts too, by the way. Let's kind of come in here. I need to select some of these butterflies, right? Have the move tool selected, hold down the command key. The command key will toggle the auto select. See that? So now I can just automatically select that. Watch my layer panel. Click. Oh, now it's jumping around to these different butterflies. I could delete that one. Click on that one. Click on that one. Again, command click will toggle those. Ultimately, what you want to do is do a shift select on all those layers and just delete them like that, right? So we'll do our quick update, right? Don't have to worry about zipping up that file and clogging up their inbox or whatever other people do, right? That will get synced, okay? Might take a second, okay? But once that's done, we will see. I just typically look for the thumbnail to refresh, right? Oh, look, it's already done actually. Click right in here, remove these butterflies. That's what they're telling me to do. Sorry, I did zoom in. But go ahead and hit reply. Done. I did it, boss. Right? Click done. You can move on. Right? What if they want the butterflies back? Right? Well, guess what? Let's go back to our file in Photoshop. I actually didn't even need to close it. Why did I close it? I could keep it open. This is what I love. Oh, they want all that stuff back. Remember, I'm actually glad I closed it so I could show you the version history. This is brand new. Version history, check this out. Oh, look. Let's go back 5 minutes ago, a couple minutes ago. Oh, there's the ones with all the butterflies. Click. And these are like all the butterflies. And for this one right here, by the way, this is the one, this is Paul's favorite. Like that. Saving those PSDs is what's happening. Saving those PSDs. And saving all these previous versions where I was actually trying different fonts and different things, right? You could see all those, and it'll keep them for 30 days. So version history, love it. There's the marked versions that I've been saving as well. Done and done, 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 done. You know, everybody's on the same page. Everything's being tracked. The file has versions with it, versioning, and everything works out pretty well. Cool. All right, now let's get into good old Photoshop, and let's play with this some more. I want to kind of cover shortcuts, right, and setting up Photoshop to work for you, right? Some quick little shortcuts. You don't need to know Command J for duplicating a layer. What I do want to show you is this magic key. So I just went into a modal dialog, hue and saturation, and you'll jump in and you'll like play with things. You're like, gonna do this, this, this. Oh, I just need to reset it back down to 0, right? And it's not too hard with this dialog, but for any modal dialog box that pops up, hold on the Option key. What happens to the cancel? Option key turns it into reset. So Option key, click, reset, because I just wanted to tweak this a little bit and make it maybe a little bit even more greenish yellow in this case, and click OK. Works for any of those dialogues. Option key is going to be your best friend. Another thing I'll do is I'll zoom in here and I'll start panning around and zoom in on these guys. And I might want to jump back out, hold the H key, click and drag. Oh, now I can come down to this turtle, zoom into there, do some work, do some things, hold the H key again, zoom out. Oh, let's work on this water tower and do stuff that way. So I'll start navigating around a file that way. Makes it really easy. Know these shortcuts. I use other shortcuts for tiling all the windows, consolidating all to tabs. I do that all the time. Anything you do a lot of, I do Control Option Command S will make something a smart object because I set up that particular keyboard shortcut. So that'll save you a ton of time. Another thing I will do, by the way, go to this flyout menu, go down to Panel Options for the Layers panel, okay? Because I'm noticing a couple things. Panel Options, and actually before I do that, I'm going to twirl this down. Because I really, as I jump around this file, I can't tell what these are. They're all people. Are there people in this? What's going on? What are these things? So use that flyout menu, jump out to Panel Options, go in here, change the thumbnail contents to layer bounds. Just the content that's on that layer. Don't expand new effects. Stop adding copy to all my butterflies. I get it. Just call it butterfly. Click OK. Oh, now I can see. Those are not people, but they're fish. Yes, I named all my layer names people names. Okay. Where the heck is this Moran fish? Where is it? Check this out. Option key again to the rescue. Click. Zoom. Right to that fish. Renee. Bah. Jasmine. Bah. Gwen. Another Gwen. Right? Zoom back out. Again, holding down that Option key, zooming in just like so. So use that. Use your Command key and click to locate and jump to those different layers as well. Just navigating your file, moving these layers, right? If I want this fish in front of everything else, Command, closing bracket, can move it up. Hold down that Shift, Command, closing bracket, ba, ba. Top of the folder, top of the entire file, because this is the fish that's really leading the way. So it's on top of everything else and out in front, right? Right. I might add a little bit of smoke right up here, right? This is something I'm gonna do really fast. I use brushes a fair amount. I need to angle this, right? I need to angle this brush. Use your arrow keys, right? Arrow to the left is moving it to the left like so, and then we can click, and let's increase the flow, by the way. Click, and there's our lovely smoke. Using your carrot keys, we can kind of toggle down to another smoke cloud, right? That's this one. This one will make a little bit larger. And again, just showing you some shortcuts, using the carrots to pick the brushes, using your arrow keys to change that angle. You guys get the idea. And another thing I want to show you real fast as well with brushes, going into this chain link. I have a chain link and a chain. I feel kind of bad about doing this, you know, but again, we don't want this this whale. We don't want him to lose his stuff. Okay, so here's this chain. We could go into the brush settings. We want to make sure it's spaced out, and then we want to go into the shape dynamics and make sure the control isn't set to off, because this is usually how it looks. No, that's not going to work. Control, make it go that direction. And again, I'm not using anything special here, but we can come down here and go. Now he's not going to lose all his stuff, right? Just like that. You get the idea, right? If I change that blend mode, you get the idea. All right, cool. Let's move on. All of that stuff is synced. Everything's looking great. I can move on from this file, and we have Photoshop set up the way we want. Now let's navigate these files, because where the heck is this file, by the way? Where did I put it? I have a hard time with keeping my files. Everything is in the cloud, but like this is on my desktop somewhere. Well, where is it? Right click. Oh, reveal in Finder. Click. Oh, that's where it is. I buried it deep in a folder called Files. Real descript, Paul. Yeah, good job. Way to go there. I love doing that. I have some other files in here. I have this PSD. This PSD is a gig, right? I just want to open it up and maybe put it on my phone like the final version. Like I'm going back to it. I'm like, oh, I'd like to do that. Hold down Shift and Option if you're on a Mac, and then double click on the file. And it will load it in as a composite flattened file. So I don't have to wait a half an hour or whatever to see the file, to make sure that it's the right one, and to get it on my phone, right? So we open up this flattened file. I just want to get it on my phone right up here. I love this. Use this all the time. I'll work on a file and I'll airdrop it directly to my phone just so it's in my camera roll. Sure enough, there it is. iPhone. Pop. There it is. Wait for it. Wait for it. Bam. There it is. Just load it up, and that's how I get my content on my phone, right? Let's close that. Don't save it. But let's close that and let's kind of move on. I'll get to this one in a second. I kind of want to get into some of these other files. I want to get into selections, some complex things. Here's my selection. We did select subject on the iPad. Yeah, I could do that on the desktop too. Let me show you the old way it would do things. So I'm forcing it by holding down the Shift key to select this sort of like the old way. And what happens here is Photoshop in previous versions before this year, it couldn't recognize people. So it just like didn't do a good job of, didn't mask out their hair at all. Well, now it can actually recognize people. So let's delete that layer mask. Let's go up here. The great thing is you don't have to do anything. Just do select subject. Click. Bah. Now let's add that layer mask. Now look at it. You ready for this? Look at that. Gorgeous. It did all that refine edge for me. Absolutely love this. I could always jump in and refine this some more, by the way. Our latest refine edge actually has some Adobe Sensei built in. It's an intelligent refine edge that enables much higher precision on hair and images, regardless of what the background is. But it already did a good job, so I could just click OK. And, you can see, looks great. Cool. Let's move on from there. Let's close that file. Let's go to another selection one that we have, because I had to do two things there. I had to select subject and then make a mask. Well, guess what? I could do it even faster. Go to a pixel layer. So this lion that I want to composite in this scene, go to the properties panel. Oh, look at that. Ultimately, most of the time I'm just removing the backgrounds. Click right there. It will do the select subject, right? It even did that refine edge. Well, I could do a lot better. This is actually where I'd go in and use the Smart Refine Edge, clean it up, all that fun stuff, right? We're not going to sweat this too much. But that's what you could do. Is just do the remove background, get rid of that background, one move, it's done. And then you typically go in and do the cleanup. But really why I wanted to open up this file is to kind of talk about color correction. Because this is, I tried to pick an extreme case where I have this lion. Typically in the daytime is when the photo was taken, and now I need to put him in this mysterious forest. Okay, so I would probably, or you would probably go in and you'll use like color balance, and you'll use adjustment layers. Maybe you'll use something like curves, right? So you go into curves, you're like, okay, we'll clip it to just that lion, right? Using a clipping mask, and then we'll like kind of play with this here, and then like maybe make it, I don't know, maybe make the reds less. I don't know, right? You're guessing. Get rid of that stuff. Go right up here. This is the easy route. Hold down the Option key because it's your new best friend. Click on Auto. It's going to bring up the auto color correction options. Love this. Hey, just define the dark and light colors. Don't make it a guessing game when you're trying to match a scene. So from here, find dark and light colors. Guess what? Shadows. Pop. Let's click right down here under the log. Boom. Look at it, matched kind of his backside in the shadow with those dark colors. Midtones we could do, right? We click on midtone, right? We can always change that later. Highlights is where you'll notice it a lot as well. The highlights are really only like this sort of medium blue like that, right? And again, we can adjust this All we want to kind of dial it in the way we want it to look, make it darker or lighter. But you can see just by doing that, don't save those as defaults. This is already 100 times better than it was. So use that, modify the auto properties in the for curves. All right, so let's move on. I got more I need to talk about. Let's actually close that. Let's get into sort of creating content using vectors, which I use Illustrator a lot, but the vector tools in Photoshop and creating shapes has gotten like that much better. First off, let's keep in mind, since I have the stuff saved, I can go into shapes. Oh, there's my shape that I can kind of drop right up here, my Creative Cloud shape that I could use in this particular scenario. There it is. Shortcut key, because I want this to actually match like this, this circle around it. Hold down the Option key, and it goes for layer mask as well. Grab that effect, drop it right on that element that I just created, and it will go ahead and transfer or copy all those effects to it, right? So there we have that. That looks good. I would want to take down the fill down to 0, and you have that option. So let's kind of take a look at some other shapes, because I want to show you that a lot of these basic shapes are so much smarter these days. They're actually kind of, it keeps the your options open when it comes to creating. So if I wanted to put some sort of octagon or something right down here to kind of balance out this square, I'll come over here. Let's go to these tools, because all of these have all been updated, right? So I can go to the polygon tool. The line is actually aligned. It's fantastic. Go to the polygon tool, right? Come in here. We'll just do a click and drag from the center, right? I made this polygon, as you can see. Let's get rid of the fill and make this set up like it should be set up, like that. Okay, like that. Increase the line, and you'll see other options in here as well, right? So increasing that line. If I wanted to make this a dashed line, this goes for the line as well, but look, I can go ahead and make that dashed, adjust the gaps, all that fun stuff. Like in this case, I actually might want to make it less or more, but I can take that octagon and turn it into a triangle, and all the other hectahedron, whatever you want to call all these. I don't even know all the names, right? Let's make it, give it 13 sides, 16 sides. I just want to do 10 sides. Like that. And again, we won't worry about rounding the corners. But the fact that you have all this flexibility is awesome. And by the way, if I happen to rotate it or offset it, it's going to give me that right here where I can come in, change it back to 0, flip it horizontally and vertically. Makes my life easy. And let's drop that on right there to give it a nice glow, right? It's a little intense, but you get the idea, okay? There's that. Okay, so let's go beyond this. I'm going to do 2 more things that are going to be awesome. So let's move quickly, because I want to grab my phone. You're thinking, oh, Photoshop, all it really does is just allow you to edit photos, but guess what? You can actually take a photo using Photoshop. So I'm going to do this really fast. My iPhone is connected. I could have smiled more. I swear I'm happy. But I just took a photo. There it is. Fantastic. Right, let's check this out. Let's clean this up. I would use the spot healing brush right up here. I am so shiny. I don't know why. Like, I need to work on my lights. But change the mode. If you want to get rid of highlights, change it to darken, because we want them to be darker, right? Get rid of those highlights. Zip, like that, right? It's that easy. Let's get rid of that light. Geez, shiny, shiny, shiny. Change it to lighten. We can make sort of under our eyes a little bit lighter. If I wanted to lighten up the scar, it almost makes it go away. I would never do that. That scar is part of me, and I'm into it, okay? So there we are. Last thing I want to cover, it's really fun, is just pointing you to these neural filters, which are just really a lot of fun to play with. Okay, neural filters, we'll launch this, and this is just fun to play with. There's going to be a couple that are already built in that you can turn on, and then some beta filters. But here, skin smoothing. Smooth out my skin, right? And adjust the blurriness accordingly. Let's try a style transfer, right? Jump in, try different styles transfers. We're going to be, this is going to be updated so much. It's going to be awesome. But again, these fun effects that you can obviously see and export out. Also showing in here, you're going to have Smart Portrait, which is something that's going to allow you to kind of rotate your head and different things like that, you know, or change your age. Let's go back out and turn off style transfer and the skin smoothing, by the way. And now you can see that it actually has changed my age. Oh, about 20 years. You get the idea. Results may vary. Have fun with it. What I love about it is you can go ahead and output this to a duplicate layer masked. Click OK, and it's going to put that on a new layer. You get the idea. Last thing I didn't have a chance to really show, and this kind of brings me back to the background and everything that I've talked about. You know, this final piece, again, I use this all the time. These are about tips that you use right in here. You could take a layer, just call it .jpeg or .ping, right? This lower third right down here, .png, right? Name your layers, a file name, and then turn on generate image assets, right? So that's what I did for my background. Let's move this over, and as soon as I turn this on, generate image assets, it starts creating all these files, right? And this content will change. It's all live, so they'll be updated as you change them in Photoshop. But my name is Paul Trani, evangelist for Adobe. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please leave me good comments, and I appreciate you, and go out there and create. Thanks so much.